Hi, I'm Kevin Eikenberry, and I'm here to help you reach your potential as a leader and a human being. Welcome to Remarkable TV. Today we're talking about the power of thinking on paper. Are you ready? Let's go. Have you ever had this experience? You've thought of something, you had this great idea, and you were all ready to share it with someone else, or share it at work, or share it in a meeting, and it was all completely clear to you until you started to explain it. Or you started to explain it and people started asking questions, and everything that seemed so clear in your head is suddenly like Swiss cheese, holes everywhere. You see, this is an example of the fact that thoughts are fuzzy. And so I'm talking today about the idea of thinking on paper because we clarify our thoughts by talking about ideas. That whole process we were just talking about would help you clarify it, even though it was fuzzy as you had it in your head, but also by writing it down. We clarify thought by talking and by writing. And so some of you may be thinking, okay, Kevin, are you talking about paper sort of metaphorically? Can we use our iPad? Can we use some other digital form? Can we type it all out? And you can, but I'm going to actually talk today about thinking on actual paper with a pen or with a pencil. Even if you're typing, that's probably better, definitely is better than just the thought process. I'm actually saying use a pen, because there's some research that says there's a lot of extra value that comes from the writing of it as opposed to the typing of it. So when I say thinking on paper today, I mean literally thinking on paper. So what can doing this do for us? I've got 5 things for you about the power of thinking on paper, and here they are. Number 1, it does help us clarify. When we put our thoughts on paper, they become clearer. Well, what I really mean is this. If you've ever erased or if you've ever crossed it out and started to write again, or you paused as you were writing, that's the clarification process. Super important to get our thoughts clearer, and using paper, pen and paper, can help us do that. Thinking on paper can help us create. It helps us create. Have you ever tried to brainstorm something and not used a piece of paper? If you use a piece of paper or you're writing it on a whiteboard, again, we're writing it now, not typing it, of great value. And so if you were ever in our office, you'd see a whiteboard in my office, you'd see flip charts around, you'd see lots of paper, too much paper on my desk. It helps us, paper helps us create. Thinking on paper helps us expand our ideas. So once we have something written down and look at it again, or start to move it around, or sometimes people write things on Post-it notes and then they can sort of rearrange them, that's all still thinking. And so thinking on paper can help us expand our thoughts as well as create those thoughts and clarify those thoughts. Thinking on paper helps us remember. Well, that's kind of a duh, perhaps, but we all know that writing things down helps us remember them. That's why we took notes, or should have taken notes in school. And so there is something to be said, and the research confirms it, that when we are writing things down, it's helping to lock it in our brain. So if you want your thoughts to be remembered, if you want to be able to persuade someone with them later, if you don't just think about them, but write them down, it will improve your ability to persuade others, influence others with them, because you'll be able to remember what they are. And then lastly, thinking on paper gives us a record. Now we actually have a record. Now, this is the digital advantage, right? If we got it digitally, we're never going to quote unquote lose it. But there's all sorts of ways now where we can scan things in. We do all other sorts of things. I'm still saying, I've been trying to go all digital forever, and I'm still right here on paper. And it gives us a record. We're not going to lose it as long as we have a good way to file it or scan it or whatever. I'm a believer in the power of thinking on paper. I'm just giving you 5 reasons why. So I'm challenging you to write things or rewrite things, or literally do what I often do, which is think with a pencil in my hand. And you will think better when you use paper. You'll get better results. And guess what? Paper's cheap and it's recyclable. Let me close with today's tweet. If you want to clarify your thinking, write it down. Think on paper. If you like this video, if you've watched any of these videos before, you might not know that we created several years ago something we call 13 Days to remarkable leadership. And it is 13 of these videos. Every one of them has a story, but it's more than just a video. Each of these 13 videos, which focuses on a key leadership competency, comes with a PDF file, a tool to help you implement the idea from the story in the video. If that sounds interesting to you, you can sign up. You'll sign up and you'll get those for 13 days in a row, a short video, a tool to use, all designed to help you become a more effective and more remarkable leader. So join us there, won't you? And join us here again next week for another episode of Remarkable TV.